Hi there and welcome to my workbench. My name is Kjetil, Lima Bravo for Foxtrot Hotel, and today I'm going to do a very simple building project. I'm going to build a Colpitts crystal oscillator. This is something that I would guess most hams, or at least that's the general view, is that most hams would do this very easily. For me, it's not, because I've never really been into analog electronics. Of course, I learned this in my course a decade ago, but I haven't used it. Everything I did before then was mostly digital electronics. And in here, in this shelf, I do have quite a nice stash of old stuff laying around from my college days when I did quite a lot of stuff. But after that, especially after I got my license, it kind of died out. Yesterday, this came in the mail, and this is the Norwegian Radio Relay League's bulletin. And in here, there was a really nice article about Lima Bravo Zero Papa Juliet, a 12-year-old ham who did a nice little 10-minute CV transmitter build with his father, Lima Bravo 8 India Juliet, who has a really good YouTube channel, by the way. And basically, I thought, well, why shouldn't I be able to do this? 1.5 or 2 hours into that 10-minute build, I found out, well, I can't do this. So I decided to go for something simpler, which is a crystal oscillator. I just wanted to see if I can even make the crystal oscillate and measure it. Which, again, it seems so basic. But for so many hams that actually don't have an electronics background, all these kind of things that people say, you just make a filter or you just make an oscillator or something like that, that is way out of scope of their skill set, and I'm one of those. And I think it's really important to lift that fact that everybody here aren't electronics wizards, everybody here aren't electronics engineers. There are quite a lot of people who just did that to get through their studies and to get their license, and who mostly operate with pre-made equipment. So today I'm going to build a Colpitts oscillator. This oscillator circuit is based on one from Learn Electronics, which is a big YouTube channel, and they had the simplest circuit I could find, and one where I actually also had all of the components. And I did try to mock it up earlier, and I got it roughly okay, so I thought it was worth filming that effort and telling about a few, and telling so I thought so I did build this earlier, just mock it up really quickly, but I thought it was worth filming it and showing a few of the pitfalls I went into, because this may apply to you or to other people out there, and just to have some fun building as well. I am going to build it on a breadboard, and I'll put the schematic up here somewhere. Again, this is based on the Learn Electronics video, so he has a really good explanation for it. I am not going to go into it in details, as I don't know it. I just want to see if I can show anything on the nice little oscilloscope over there. To help me, I got a Rigol DS1054Z oscilloscope, which I bought from an old ham friend, well, 7 or 8 years ago. I got this breadboard, and I got a stash of components over here, and I'm going to run it off a battery pack. And well, that's pretty much it. Another reason for me to learn this is that my girlfriend, Charlotte, Mike 9 Lima Victor Yankee, she's doing her full license exam over in the UK nowadays, and she asks quite a lot of questions during that course, which, well, I should know, but I have no clue about. So this is, again, just some basic learning for me and to just have some fun. So let's see. This circuit is pretty simple. It starts with 5 volts plus on the top. Then there's a 33K resistor going down, which then goes into the base of a 2N222 transistor. So let's see, up here I have some transistors. So you can use a 2N2222 or a BC639, or I think any other NPN transistor as well. But these are some of the ones I have in store. And pretty much everything you see here, they are cheap components bought off eBay over a decade ago. So most of this stuff is, well, not the best quality, to say it that way. And I'm pretty sure some of this will be fakes as well. But let's see if we can get it working. So let's start with the 2N2222, as that is the one used in the original video, and then I'll try the other one afterwards. So again, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, as that is very well explained in the other video. But the transistor goes in there, and then I need some 33K resistors, and those are in this little box. I still actually haven't unpacked these, and I do know we should snip off the leads, but for this I'm not gonna bother, basically, because I will put it back into the box afterwards again. So this is some cheap kit I bought again when I was studying, and they've lasted a long time. So I think these are quarter watt resistors, if I don't remember wrong. So I need 2 of those, and then I also need a 2.2K, which where is the 2.2K? It's here, actually, on the front. So that is really nice to have. Put that off to the side. And then we need a capacitor and or 2 ceramic capacitors. There's a voltage divider with 2 capacitors here. And this is the mistake I did yesterday. Is the capacitors. And I found this out because I thought that number that was written on here, as you can see here, there's a handwritten note from the eBay seller of what size is in here. I thought 102p meant 102 picofarad, but that's of course a code. So that is 102, which is 100 picofarad. And I am looking for the ones that should say 221. And let us dig through some stuff here and see if I can find them. So this one is 221p, and there are 10 pieces of them. And this should help me out quite well. So the ones I was actually looking for yesterday was the 102s, which I didn't know about. So I actually think I put 10,000 picofarads in circuit instead of 1,000. So that's what happens when you don't know what you're doing. And yes, so we have that, and I need a crystal, which should be up here. And for crystals, I actually have some higher quality components. These ones I bought from Alpha Distrelec, which is Farnell now, I think, or bought up by them. For some reason, I bought 2 sets of out-of-band ones. So I have 3.2768 megahertz and 7.3728 megahertz. And then I have one which is 1.8432 megahertz, which actually puts it in the middle of the FT8 portion on 160 meters. But I don't think this is going to make any noticeable amount of noise for anybody from inside of this basement apartment. So that is that. And as you can see, I'm not wearing any sort of anti-static wristband here. I really don't care about these components. So I don't have a work table that's set up for electronics. So let's just start with a clean slate here, or clean board. And from the top here, going down, and then there's a 33K resistor, and that's going to be a bus, or it's going to be split among some of the other components here, among them the crystal. So the crystal, that goes over to the side here somewhere, not very critical. And then it's also a 33K going straight down to ground again after that. And please excuse the mix of symbols in the drawing here. This I'm not that familiar with KiCad, and I just wanted to have a very simplistic drawing of this, or sketch of this, to work from, other than the hand-drawn one. So this one goes to ground down here. So that is that leg, and the crystal, the other leg, should also go to ground. So let's see if I can find something nice and long to pull that straight down to ground with immediately. Now there are color codes for this, and this box is horribly cramped and small. Can't remember that being a problem before, but now it is. So that goes down to ground. And then from this one, there should be one capacitor going off to the side. And then another capacitor that goes down, and that goes down to ground again. So then I need another green one. So that is that. And then from that, it should be a link that goes from the emitter of the NPN transistor. So let us see. The NPN transistor, then I need a bit longer cable here. Because it goes, I think it is collector, base, and emitter. I'll double check that here. I used to have a very nice little app for this. So let's see here. The emitter should then be actually that one. So I can jump over to that. I used to have a nice app for this when I was doing this more, and wonder if that is still around, because it was so handy to just look up all of the components. Okay, and the base is in the center, and I want that to get 5 volts directly from the 5-volt rail up here. So that is that. And then, oh, sorry, the base should not get 5 volts directly. That is the collector that should get 5 volts directly. And this, of course, is the kind of fiddling that you do when you're not really sure about what you are doing. So from this 33K over here, that is what we should have over to the base. So that should be from the 33K here over to the base. That was too short. White probably. Yes, the white one is good. Like so. I am not sure, but I think this is pretty close to what we want. And then from the emitter here, which is pin 3, we should have a small thing coming out to be the output of this, which is here. And then I need another one on the ground, which would be down here somewhere. So have I forgotten anything? Yes, the emitter has a 2.3K going down to ground as well. These are, of course, this resistor, of course, has thin, spindly legs, which don't want to go into a breadboard, but the bit of applied force solves that. I wonder if that should be it. Let's see. Firstly, let's just plug some power in here. Orange plus and white negative on this one, because I didn't bother finding the correct color cables. And let's see, that is one. That is the other. And do an auto capture. Okay. So that is only picking up 50 hertz hum. So I have done something wrong. That is, to be fair, not too surprising. Yeah, nothing detected on the auto here. So let's see what I messed up. Because this worked really nice earlier. Negative, positive, yes, that's at least correct. Make sure everything is nicely seated. So it is fun when you actually made something work earlier and when you then redo it, it doesn't work. That is really fun. Let's see, crystal goes from the positive here into that and to ground. Then from the positive rail 33K down to ground. Then 2 of these capacitors go, and the center point of that is fed into the thing before. The collector. And I have forgotten a link here between the emitter and ground, which probably should explain why this thing isn't working, I think. Sounds like something I would like to have. And we do an auto, and look at that. So this is my board, close up, really beautiful. And over here, you'll see the scope. And it gets 1.84305 megahertz in there. And that looks like a pretty nice sine wave. That's even smoother than the one I got earlier. So, well, I'm pretty pleased with that. And I actually think that's it. We can do some playing around here. Let's see what happens if we, for example, put in a BC639 NPN transistor instead. Do we have the same result? Yes, we do, and exactly the same frequency as well. So yeah, I'm pleased with that result. So I'm pretty pleased with that result. Simple electronics project, but really fun to do, and I need to do a lot more of these to actually get this into my fingers again, because, well, it's something that's so fun to play around with and mess around with, and you can easily just spend like half an hour to an hour or so to have fun with this and play around and well, build something. And hopefully I managed to make that small 10-minute transmitter as well. Maybe it will take me only 1 hour this time, and maybe it will even work now that I actually have the correct components lined up here. I also have quite a lot of other fun stuff lying around, like this old variable capacitor here and stuff like that. I do not have an LCR meter though, so, well, it's something to get to buy. If you want to have a look at the electronics gear I have around here, I have a video on it. I think it was my 555 subscriber special. It's linked up here somewhere, where I show everything, all the gear I have lying around, at least what I had at that time. And we also have a very nice and active DIY channel over on the European Ham Radio Show Discord. So if that's interesting, feel free to join us there as well. It's a nice and active and positive community. Thank you very much for watching. 7-3.